What's up, my friend? Today I'll be reacting to 10 weird things an Irish person noticed visiting America for the first time. Well, I'm really curious to see what my fellow European have to say about America. But before I go into that, can I ask you for one thing? If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. If you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Now, link for the original video in my description. You guys end up recommending this one a couple of times. Let's see it. By the way, Diane, I think is a tremendous content creator. Give her some love. That said, well, let's play it.
So my first trip to America was right after I finished school. I was 18 and up until then I'd really only seen it on television and in films, and as you guys know, a lot of that stuff is embellished. To me, America was all high school cheerleaders, jocks, obesity, but it also represented
Okay, holy. So basically all the stereotypes that, to be honest, are not even true.
a hub of the Western world. To an 18-year-old Irish girl, the United States represented this huge place of possibility. It's where a lot of the celebrities live and a lot of global politics stem from the United States. I was super excited, and here's 10 weird things I was surprised to learn when I did get there. The crazy people out-crazy the other crazy people. In Ireland...
What? Sorry? The crazy try out crazy the other... Oh, basically it's like a virus. I'm not sure about this.
people. In Ireland, we do have crazy people. By crazy people, I'm not referring to people with mental disorders, but rather people who fall outside of the social...
Guys, I have something to tell you. This may shock you. There is crazy people everywhere. Not just America, everywhere.
norms. What I'm saying is, if you want to be extra in America, you have to be super extra. For example, I met this one guy who plays golf on a pogo stick, and it turns out there's a whole community of people who play golf on a pogo stick. So I guess in order to stand out from the other people doing an unusual thing, this guy had chosen to wear a purple wig and Wellington boots and some chaps that were assless. That's what he chose to do. And, you know, more power to him. And what is normal anyway?
Freedom.
Although if we were all extra, nobody would actually be extra because extra would be the norm, so maybe don't everybody be extra. Next up, area segregation. In Ireland, there are certainly different areas where communities of people live, but in general, there's no problem with one person going into another person's area. It's not a big deal. Now, on my first day out in the city of...
This one I would agree. It is also not a big deal. I mean, there is... Okay... Not a big deal. There is some exceptions, of course. There is some regions, for example, in Lisbon, that are a bit more problematic, and I would not advise you to go there. But overall, Portugal is a very safe country, you know what I mean? And this type of, she said, oh, that's a difficult word. Segregation areas don't happen a lot.
LA. I ventured out from my hotel in Inglewood and jumped on a bus. More on that later. And me and my friend just decided to see where the city took us. Apparently you're not supposed to do that. Because we ended up in a little place called Compton. And we started to go for a little walk. And everybody was looking at us. And suddenly a phrase from a cowboy film jumped into my head. We don't like strangers in these here parts. Apparently Compton isn't frequented often by tourists. And the more we walked, the more people started to come up to us and tell us so. Some people were quite friendly and just suggested that our presence might not be so welcome and maybe we should leave. And another person told us they were going to kill us if we didn't leave. But actually, once most...
Okay, this video is wild, actually. Gonna go... Holy, okay. Oh, wow. Well, okay, I'm gonna run this one back because, okay, this side of America was... I mean, I knew that there is... you know, probably places that I should be smart, you know what I mean? But, okay, this went a bit... No. I still love America, but, wow.
People were quite friendly and just suggested that our presence might not be so welcome and maybe we should leave. And another person told us they were going to kill us if we didn't leave. But actually, once most people found out we were Irish, they were pretty cool. Which leads me to my next point. People in America seem to love the Irish. I'm sure there are people in America who do not love the Irish. But
I wonder if they love the Portuguese.
overwhelmingly, I have to say, in America, I discovered most people love the Irish, which is pretty cool. It was a fairly regular occurrence to find once you opened your mouth, people would regale you.
This makes sense. I mean, the influence is probably quite big, right? A lot of Irish end up going to America. I know there is some Portuguese, but it's quite levels apart.
stories of their own Irishness. There are a lot of American Irish because let's face it, we went over there and we bred like rabbits. There are more Irish people in America than there are in Ireland. Thanks for your laws on contraception, Catholicism. From what I can understand, a lot of American identity is tied up in your ancestry. In Ireland, a lot of our historical records got destroyed, so we don't get that much opportunity to investigate our own ancestry. For example, I look at myself and I can pretty categorically conclude I probably come from Vikings. That is both cool and terrifying. And on to
Oh, I was not aware of this. Okay, really, really interesting. Would you guys agree? This was okay. Anyone watching have Irish, type of comes from an Irish family or ancestry? You know what I mean? Oh, leave me a comment. I would love to know you, my friend.
Buses, or not onto buses as the
Buses? Oh, I don't even know that word.
The case may be. In Ireland, a bus is a bus. Some people get the bus, some people drive, some people do both. It's not really a big deal.
Oh, buzz. Oh, but okay.
But in America, apparently it is a big deal. We would get on the bus and again, people would look at us like we had two heads. This was a while ago and maybe the whole thing's changed, but it was very difficult to figure out when the bus would come and where it would go when it got there. And you...
Oh, okay. So this is more like she's criticizing, I'm assuming, criticizing, giving her opinion about the public transportation. Well, I think probably comparing with Europe, this may be one place where Europe may be a bit better. Would you guys agree with that? But I said this a couple of times. Maybe some Europeans don't even like that I say this. I don't like public transportation even here. You know what I mean? I much prefer... and Portugal have great transportation. But I much prefer driving my own car. I know maybe not the best for the environment and stuff like that. Well, it is what it is.
You couldn't just ask a person on the street. They didn't know because everybody drives. People drive when they're 16 in America, which to me...
That's a bit wild. That's a bit wild. Because 60, I was, I don't even know what I was doing, but I was not driving for sure.
It's kind of insane. At 16, I was making some bad decisions. It's just a bit mad seeing someone who, to me...
I actually think, if I was president of America, well, who knows? Actually, I believe it's impossible. But if I was president of America, what I would do is I would swap the thing with drinking and driving. I would put drinking at 16, driving at 21. To be fair, I think both should be 18 because, to be fair, I grew up with those datas for both. But I think would make a bit more sense, actually.
Me is a child behind the wheel. In Ireland, we don't get to drive till we're 18, so everybody's getting the bus. But in New York, a lot of you guys get the subway, so I guess it's different depending on each city. The next one is something I never thought I would have an issue with. It is very difficult to find fresh fruit and veg. Okay, so this
Really?
one maybe slightly because we didn't have a car. I'm not a big mad vegetable head myself, but I was surprised that when we went into our local supermarket there wasn't a produce section. But by week 3 I was kind of fearing scurvy, having looked into it a bit more since.
Wait, is this true? Okay, this one shocks me. I did not... America... Wait, this is true actually, or maybe this was just their experience, because I feel like if I go to a supermarket I find... Okay... This is the first time I even see someone that went to America say this.
I think you guys generally have specific places that sell fruit and veg, but it was just something I noticed in my particular circumstances when I was there. And I'm the biggest junk food addict I know. Now the next one again could be LA specific, but I noticed when I looked around something that kind of creeped me out. Everybody in LA has the same nose.
Okay, no chance. I don't believe it. I don't believe this one. Diane, I'm sorry, great video. I'm enjoying this, but this one, no. I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
Irrespective of race or gender, everybody has had the same nose put on their face. In LA, people are very focused on what they look like, and I guess they all decided that this one nose was the way to go. They all agreed this was the perfect nose. Next up, sales assistants. I went to LA and I went to New York, and my god, could there be two different attitudes to being a sales assistant. So when I walked into a shop, they'd follow me around asking did I need help. never really needed help shopping before. And if I just said I wanted to browse, they'd stand there with this big creepy smile looking at me. Initially, I thought everybody suspected me of being a shoplifter, but then I discovered that everybody in LA works on commission. I have never been more uncomfortable than when one...
Oh, this is true. Everyone works on commission. I actually like that. I mean, incentivizes you to be nice and, you know, on the other end, probably is a bit worse for the consumer because they might buy stuff because they feel pressured. But, okay, this is interesting.
One girl was following me around carrying piles of clothes she'd picked out for me. And this is when I made the greatest shopping mistake of my life. I sort of befriended one of the sales assistants. From her perspective, she just wanted my money, but I felt like we clicked. And so I bought a pair of jeans for $200 that I never actually wore because I told her I was a size smaller than I actually was because I didn't want her to think I was fat.
She looks so skinny.
Anyway, I don't know what actually happened to those jeans, but I think I probably buried them somewhere because of my shame. And onto American men. Oh yeah. American men are super direct. In Ireland, typically, a guy will have met you, slagged you off, introduced you to his mammy, and you'll have known him 6 months before he actually asks you out on a date. In America...
Okay, this one I cannot comment, I'm not sure. I don't know. You guys tell me, I mean, I have a lot of American men watching me.
A guy will literally come up to you in a shopping mall and say,
"Hey, can I get you a coffee?"
And at first this being so alien...
Okay. I mean, you guys go direct to the point. I mean, nothing wrong with that as long as you are respectful. But yeah, this, I would say, I never did that to a woman that I don't know, you know. To be honest, I did not have a lot of, you know, girlfriends. So I'm also not the best person for this.
alien to me. I was like,
"Oh, actually, I don't drink coffee, but I heard there's a Starbucks over there, so if I did want a coffee, I guess I could get one there."
and he looked at me very confusedly and walked away. We just don't have that kind of directness in Ireland, and it freaked me out. But actually, it's a very practical thing. I kind of wish guys in Ireland were more straight up. Although it kind of gets rid of the courtship thing. I'm feeling a little torn here, so I'm just going to say Irish men are great and American men are great. And I really don't have to make a decision on which one's greater right now, so... I really can't do this list without mentioning guns. And I'm not going to go into the
She says, no, never mind.
whole constitution.
Then I was about to say, I cannot. It's a bit disrespectful, and I really enjoy your content.
I really can't do this list without mentioning guns. And I'm not going to go into the whole constitution, whether guns are right or whether guns aren't right kind of thing. What I will say is until I went to America, I had never seen a real life gun up close. There was a police officer standing beside me one day and I looked down and I just saw his gun there and I had the strangest reaction.
"Don't shoot me, I'm Irish. That'd be really..."
No, I don't get this. Again, maybe I should react to Ireland videos because if you guys come to Portugal, police have guns. Shocking, right? I mean, you know, kind of makes sense. I don't know. What? I mean, if I see a random guy in the street with a gun, yeah, that freaks me out probably. In Portugal, that would freak me out 100 times even more than in America. But I mean, police, yeah, we know.
And I just saw his gun there and I had the strangest reaction.
"Don't shoot me, I'm Irish. Everybody loves the Irish."
I just started shaking and I was really freaked out. And that's not something I ever thought I would feel. The thing is, I just never thought I'd have that reaction. I was just really terrified. And walking around knowing that people maybe had guns on them was quite unnerving too. There's a lot more security in buildings like metal detectors and stuff, but it didn't kind of make me feel safer. And that's all I'll say about that. But the last...
I mean, but, you know, this one, again, goes a bit over my head. I don't get it that well. I feel like if I go to Texas, I'm giving the example of Texas because I know they love guns in Texas. But if I go to Texas, I'm aware people there have guns, but I'm also aware that people in Texas are tremendous and they have their culture and they like the guns to... I don't know to what, but I mean, I assume the main idea is to protect their homes and stuff like that. But there is even sports related with guns, and I again never went to America, but I feel like I would never experience this.
last thing I'm going to point to today is the extreme body types.
Actually, I have to do an explanation. When I say I would never experience this, in the sense that, it depends on the environment. Of course, if I'm around people that I really think, okay, this region may be a bit scary, and I see guns, okay, that's different. But you guys would be the same, So.
About that. But the last thing I'm going to point to today is the extreme body types. There seems to be a category of people in America who are either on one end of the spectrum or the other. And there's the people in the middle, but it's no fun talking about how we're all the same. So yeah, there's super skinny health conscious people who can at times be quite skeletal or have these humongous muscles. And then there are people who are so fat they're in wheelchairs. We don't have...
We have those, sorry to disagree again. Maybe there is more in America, I mean, and then that could be, probably there is some stats that prove that, but yeah. To be honest, I think this, you know what I think about the stereotype of Americans being fat is because the thing is, I give my example, I'm not in the best shape and I'm European, so not all Europeans are skinny, I'm not, but the thing with, I think, a lot of the TV shows, like the ones that there was a bunch of guys trying to lose weight. Do you guys know the channel TLC, right? They also make a lot of shows that have a lot of people that is trying to lose weight. And I think that and those shows are popular. So I think that's one of the reasons maybe there is that stereotype. But I don't know. I think we are all more common than, more similar, better saying, than sometimes we realize.
That in Ireland, that I know of. I was in Atlanta airport and I overheard this argument because they'd run out of wheelchairs. I did kind of wonder how the people had gotten there. And I can't say resolutely they were in wheelchairs because they were obese, but I did see one person bringing over like 5 cheeseburgers to a lady in a wheelchair. And I felt really sad. If that was the reason she was in a wheelchair, stop bringing her cheeseburgers.
I mean, yeah, but that, I don't know. I'm not, see, a lot of you guys call me because I reacted to border stuff that you guys say, oh, André likes Trump. I don't care about politics, my friend. Specific in America for logic reasons, right? But I maybe this is more a left take, but I think people that are fat, I'm not saying it's not their fault, but I think the problem is a bit more complex than that most of the time. So I have a lot of compassion for those people.
Because you're not helping her.
And I believe this should be a topic that more people talked about with some science behind, you know what I mean?
I met this other lady when I did find a farmer's market who literally just ate leaves. She just ate leaves. Like a variety of different leaves.
Vegetarian.
She weighed about the same amount as Chewy, and he's very small. And I was nearly agog when I saw her. I had to stop myself going like this. So anyway, I made this list because somebody asked for it, so if you have any video suggestions, do comment below and I'll check it out. I hope it's been an interesting list for you. There are a lot of similarities, of course, too, but that wouldn't really make a very interesting list. So, or maybe it would make a cool list, I don't know. This is still a really small, really unmonetized channel, so if you could like, share,
Oh, this is funny because this happened to me a couple of times. I'm recording it. But to be honest, it was good because the video was already ending. Well, my friends, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you spent with me. I feel like this was supposed to be a fun video, and to be honest, I thought the video was great. But I ended up being a bit more... I don't know. Maybe I was a bit negative on this one, and I don't like to be that way. You guys tell me in the comments. But I just think some problems there are a bit more serious. I don't know. And the stereotype thing, this is probably quite corny to say, but at this point I really like you guys, and the stereotype thing offends me. I know this probably makes no sense, but it is what it is at this point. My friends, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time, like I said. See you guys next time. Bye. That's it for today, my friends. Hope you end up enjoying this video. If that's the case, do not forget to leave a like. Also consider to subscribe if you are new to my channel. And also let me remember you about one thing. I have a Patreon community. I put videos there a bit earlier than I put on YouTube. So if you want to support me and have access to early content, go to my Patreon. I will leave a link on my description. Take a look at that. You can also scan the QR code you'll be seeing here. And that's it.